So today I really want to help you with your drive. I'm going to share with you the fastest way I know to improve your driver swing. In doing so, I'm going to share with you a tip that was shared to me by the world's #1 coach, Pete Cowan. It does three things. It instantly improves your contact, it instantly improves your direction, and if you follow the steps I'm about to show you, you will start to see an instant increase in your distance, okay? It's super, super cool and really, really simple. Before I get into the video, look though, if you're new to the channel, for your first lessons of mine, please consider subscribing. I release videos just like this one every single week to try and help you improve your game. Plus, you never have to remember a thing. I'll always put a free download practice guide in the description box below. So before I share with you Pete Cowan's tip, let me just show you what a simple golf swing or driver swing looks like. Super simple. Ultimately, it's this. The club swings back on roughly a 45-degree arc. It's like a beautiful circle. It swings back here, comes back into impact here, and then swings through. It is simple. It's repeatable, okay? If you're being inconsistent with driver and I was to track your club, my bet is we'd see all these various different loops and stuff, and the club's going all over the place, thus affecting your strike, your level of consistency, and certainly the amount of distance that you're capable of hitting, all right? So how do we then create a circle that is consistent time and time again? Well, ultimately, all you've got to do is this. What moves the club? You, right? The body, the way you move this body. Now, most of the time, the reason why the club's moving all over the place is your body's moving all over the place. And you probably can't feel it all the time, or you've tried many, many things, but you haven't been able to solve the problem. So Pete gave me this exercise. In fact, he reckons this one drill he gives to every single one of his students because it is the fastest way to get the body working effectively time and time again. And it's ultimately the feet together exercise. So you've probably seen this drill or similar drill like this before, but not in the way I'm about to explain it to you today, because if you can learn to do this correctly, it is incredible at improving the quality of your strike. So here's what we start. What's the purpose of this? Well, when you start with your feet together like this and stay there just for a moment, okay, we'll show you how you start to get wider throughout the video. But when you start like this, what does it do? Well, we want to get that club arriving at the same spot every single time, okay? Now, what happens when people's feet are apart, they start to move around excessively without realizing, okay? That's affecting bringing the club back at the same spot every time. But when you try and move around excessively with your feet together, you'll immediately lose your balance, which gives you immediate feedback and therefore training, right? So this is almost like a free training aid that you can take to the golf course. So I'm swinging now backwards and forwards, and I know that if I start moving around, I'm gonna lose the control of the head. So I swing now, and I know I've got a consistent spot I can strike on the ground, okay? The second thing it does is this. When I tip forward now, remember we don't play baseball like this, okay, we play golf, so we're tilted towards the ground. We want a tilted circle. So now, as long as I keep my head roughly on an imaginary wall here, as I'm swinging this club, I am now naturally gonna swing this club on a roughly a 45-degree arc. I will immediately feel myself coming up because I will lose my balance. But when you have your feet apart, it kind of masks a lot of this, okay? And you can lift up, you still feel the balance because you got feet apart, and again, the inconsistency comes in. So having the feet together trains a really, really good swing. So here's what I want you to do to set it up, because this is important. So before you go into hitting any golf balls here, all I want you to do is put your feet together like this, okay? Now turn your left foot, your lead foot out slightly here. This just gives you a bit more mobility in this left side. Then what I want you to do is this. I want you to make some swings, small swings to start with, okay? Now, every single time I give this to somebody, I mean every single time, they start to lose their balance. Why? Because they're starting to make the same moves they did with their feet apart. This is brilliant, right? Because it's giving them feedback. You see, once your body starts to lose balance, all I want you to do is keep swinging and learn to swing in balance. As you start to learn to swing in balance, suddenly your body will start to kind of pivot more. It will start to kind of get all the right tilts in like this. Why? Because it happens naturally, but you don't have to think about it. The drill will teach you how to do this naturally. Because if I start lifting up, I will feel the loss of balance. So I'll now stay a bit closer to the golf ball here. There we go. Swing backwards and forwards and trust the exercise, okay? Then what I want you to do is this. This is important. When you get yourself set, when you set up to the golf ball here, I want the ball, okay, outside, almost on my little toe of my lead foot here. Now, why do I do that? Because when we're swinging, I want you to set up with the club about 2 or 3 inches behind the golf ball here. Because when you swing beautifully in balance here, we want the club, the driver, to do what? Naturally hit up on the golf ball, okay? So I'm gonna hit shot now, just with my feet together, and all I'm focusing on here is just pure and utter balance. Watch this. Felt good, felt out in the middle of the club, and we just hit that 234 yards with what you probably thought is very little effort whatsoever. Now, as I'm doing this, and you do this for the first time, you're gonna find yourself losing balance sometimes, and that's absolutely fine. But what I'm doing here is as those feet are together, ball's outside this kind of lead foot here, all I'm gonna do is keep swinging, and I'm not trying to hit any distance, backwards and forwards, and I promise you what's gonna happen to your contact is as you keep swinging in balance, you're gonna start hitting it out in the middle of the club time and time again. And more importantly, when you start to lose your balance, you're gonna immediately feel it, okay? So often all I'm doing is focusing on keeping my head roughly against that wall, trying to return back in front of me here. So I'm getting the pressure of those arms, not throwing here, not over the top, just simply turning it back in front of me body here. Okay, let's have a look at this in action, and I'll build up in a second. So feet together, toe out. Okay, that felt really solid, really, yeah, look, we're up to 251 yards in total, 100 miles an hour with the club head speed, and I've got my feet together, okay? Now, what I'm doing here as I do this, now you're not gonna hit it, and necessarily, my club head speed is well over 100 miles an hour normally, right? But it's not about increasing club head speed with this. It's about improving the consistency of your arc and the consistency of your contact. If for the majority of golfers out there, this will immediately improve your consistency. You can go and play like this, okay? Now, all I do now is I'm gonna test myself. I'm gonna keep that ball outside that foot here. Now, all I'm gonna do is now see if I can still swing in balance, but I'm gonna swing now with a little bit more pace to this. And that pace is gonna wanna take me out of balance potentially. So I'm gonna find my habits. My habit would often be kind of sliding. There, what have I done with the club? I've dropped it behind, it's not in the circle anymore. So holding this here, I really feel like it's just giving me incredible training. I'm gonna show you in a second how we expand this, maybe even to the irons as well in a second. So let me see, I really ramp up this one here. Feet are together again here, toe out, let's give it a smash. I really hit that one a little bit harder, still with my feet together. We're up to 200 now and 70 yards with the feet together, yeah? So I could play golf like that comfortably, yeah? Now I want you to do the same. So how do we expand this a little bit? Well, the whole purpose of this exercise isn't to try and hit those yardages initially. It's to improve the quality of this circle and your low point, the point where you come back into the golf ball. All you do now, bit by bit, is you start to increase the width of your stance. So you might want to go, okay, now I've got maybe a club and a half width between my heels, toes still pointing out, and then what I do is the same principle here. Can I still feel the same feelings here? So what I'm feeling here is this. One of my problems sometimes is a little bit of this. So I'm really feeling my balance. Yours might be this. A lot of slices kind of move this way. So again, it's training this motion. You wouldn't have felt this with your feet apart. So you take those feelings and ultimately all you do is just give it a smash, really focusing on your balance. And these feet, look, this is gonna massive, look at that there, look, 278 yards, super comfortably. Now, before we finish, look, let me show you how this really quickly works with the irons. Now, the slight change I make with irons ultimately is I get them, unlike driver where the ball position is on the outside of this kind of lead foot here, I get the ball more central. The other thing I get them to do is to recognize, like with a driver, kind of the club's coming in almost like a plane where the back wheels are landing. So you imagine a driver head, you want the back of the driver almost landing and then kind of hitting the ball on the way up. with an iron, ultimately, we want to strike the ball on the way down now. So you know, what I do get with my students here is I get them to imagine the leading edge of this club, of the base here, striking down the ground. Most of the time when people are not really striking it very well, or thinning it and fatting it, they're generally hitting the back edge here. So all we do is, that's going to be helped already just by having your feet together, ball position more central, but then I'll get them simply to pay attention, I want you to do the same, to what part of the club is ultimately striking the ground, okay? This is amazing. Then I'll get them to just hit some shots. So again, same thing. This is a 7-iron here, feet together, toe pointing outwards, but this time ball in the middle of my stance. I get some swings backwards and forwards. I feel myself losing balance, brilliant. I keep swinging until I'm starting to swing in balance. Notice, by the way, I'm not staying dead still, try to stay in balance. I am swinging with freedom in my knees, my ankles, my hips, as much as you can, based on your flexibility. And watch this, it works with irons too. Okay, nice and simple. And there you go, look, beautifully straight, nice and simple. Now, I love this, not just for drive, but not for irons, but also do it with your wedges. I had the same issue with my wedges, a little bit of slide. Again, all I did was put my feet together and immediately I started to get the feedback necessary to get those beautiful strikes. So it works with every single club in your bag. It's as old as time, this drill, but I tell you, do it properly, make sure they change those ball positions. I promise you, you're gonna start to, you can take it straight to the golf course, you're gonna start to see some big improvements in the quality of your ball striking and your accuracy. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, maybe share it with one of your friends. And of course, look, if you're new to the channel, press that subscribe button and the bell. If you wanna see how you can really ramp up the power with your driver, check this one out. The feedback on it with the YouTube community has been amazing. I'll see you next time.